Welcome to the most special Experts on Expert with your hosts, Monica Pradman and Dan Shepard.
Can you believe it?
So, of course, this was the long-awaited who could even be tied with him guest.
Yep.
Officially known as William Gates. You probably know him as Bill Gates. He is a technologist, a business leader, and a philanthropist. He is the co-founder of Microsoft. Today, Bill and Melinda Gates co-chair the charitable foundation bearing their names and are working together to give their wealth back to society. Monica, greatest 90 minutes of your life?
I think perhaps. Definitely top 2.
Yeah. If you exclude my family, we got to get that off the table.
Sure.
Then, yeah, best 90 for me. Please enjoy Bill Gates. We get support from Quince.
So we've been talking about Quince a lot lately, and as we head into fall, it's the perfect time to reset your wardrobe with their amazing pieces. I think it's so fun to do when the seasons turn over to just spruce up your wardrobe with a couple specials, and Quince is the place.
Totally. We're talking organic cotton, Mongolian cashmere, tailored chinos from just $60. Premium fit and quality you'd expect from a luxury brand designer. I love Quince. You know, I like it understated and subtle, and I like stuff that has high quality. And Quince checks all those boxes.
I love a lot of stuff from Quince. Honestly, they have incredible premium denim, which is very important for fall. It's pretty much all I wear in the fall is denim. And Quince has such a good selection of quality denim. Their stuff is so versatile, timeless, and built to last that you just grab every single day without thinking.
Right. And all of that for 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They go direct to ethical factories, cut out the middlemen, so you get all that quality without overpaying for it.
We love that. And they do way more than clothes. They have bedding, cookware, bath essentials, travel must-haves, same deal, and great quality.
Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/dax. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/dax. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You've heard us talk about BetterHelp for a while, but I don't know that we've ever talked about how much people love this service when they use it. BetterHelp has an average live therapy session rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on over 1.7 million client session reviews. And you can check out the reviews yourself at betterhelp.com/reviews to see how much they love BetterHelp. Knowing that kind of service feedback from real people speaks for itself. I'm a huge proponent of therapy, as we've talked about before. I've learned so many things about myself that I believe truly only an outside, objective person could help me come to. BetterHelp makes it easy to get started. Answer a few questions, get matched with a therapist based on your needs, and switch therapists at any time if it's not the right fit. See the reviews, see what stands out, and see if BetterHelp is right for you. Visit betterhelp.com/dax. That's betterhelp.com/dax.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Oh my goodness, he's already there.
Wow.
Not only is he already there, but he looks identical to the TED Talk. You must just have a setup.
It's my avatar.
We are so thrilled.
I haven't worn a suit in a year and a half.
Oh,
And I
cool.
just want you to know I've done it for you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't get to see your garage.
Oh,
The attic.
Well, by the way, if you want to extend this into a personal friendship, you can see my garage anytime you want.
All right.
I want to memorialize this with, I'm going to quickly...
Rob, we need a picture of this, Rob.
Oh, boy. Okay. Are you as uncomfortable with praise as most of our guests are in general?
Hopefully. I can take a little bit.
I think I'm just going to lay it out in this. I've been really hemming and hawing on how to lay this out just as succinctly as possible. We went through everyone. We really said, oh my gosh, Bill Gates, who would we want more than that? And really, there's a two-way tie, but you're just marginally ahead, and that is just Obama. That's the only, I think, person we'd want to talk to as much as you, but not even as much.
And even still, you beat him out.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I hope we haven't planted the seeds of some kind of quarrel.
Rivalry.
That's high expectations.
Okay, now we watched the documentary. I've now watched it 3 times, which is tied with the amount of times I've read Titan. Have you read Titan?
Sure.
What was your impression you walked away with of Rockefeller?
Well, his career was during a time when business rules were pretty ruthless. But then once he retires, which he actually does at a pretty young age, he picks amazing people to run his foundation. And so in the world of philanthropy, they are the high bar. What they did for schools, for culture, for medical research, it's amazing that you have to always refer back to them. In the early days, when people would write about global health, they would just say, the foundation did this and the foundation did that. And of course, they meant the Rockefeller Foundation.
Right.
So, pretty phenomenal. He actually picked a guy named Gates, no relationship, to actually help figure out how he would give the money back in a smart way.
Yeah, it became incredibly cumbersome for him, right, to field all the requests. And there were obviously so many deserving causes, and it just was too much for him to actually handle, right? It became kind of imprisoning.
Yeah, they were very broad in their activities. I mean, we do global health and education, but they did cultural stuff. It was phenomenal. And they are probably the most impactful foundation ever, because one of the things they did was called the Green Revolution that saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, I may have just gotten drunk on the punch of that book, but would it be too much to say that he might be the most impactful man to have ever lived in America, in that he funded medical research, which wasn't a thing. He standardized medical care. He, cured hookworm, malaria, vaccines, the endowment that has now lasted and still, we just interviewed Sean Penn yesterday. They're getting money for COVID testing from the Rockefeller Foundation. I mean, he's got to be up there, right?
Yeah, he set a really good model for enlightened philanthropy. Now, his business life was more controversial.
But to your point, he's coming directly after Cornelius Vanderbilt, who is running his steamships into other steamships and sinking them on the Hudson River, and just no one cares. No one's taken to court. It was such the Wild West. Can you even apply our ethics to that period?
It's complicated. I mean, Ida Tarbell wrote about him and sort of created a negative view. And weirdly, they actually break up his company. But as he said at the time, his company was so capable that even the parts that were split up as the car was coming along, they all did super well. So it's a complicated story.
The last laugh was they quadrupled his wealth, right? I mean, when they broke that up, that's when he skyrocketed to $1 billion.
Yeah, and he even was out on the golf course when he heard he and the Reverend, his friend, were golfing, and he said, "Hey, they broke up to Standard Oil? Buy Standard Oil." And it was a good stock tip, because the automobile was kind of this killer application for oil extraction.
I have an important question.
Go ahead.
This is so important. What's your favorite color?
Oh, yeah, we want to know that. Well, first, can I guess?
Sure.
Green?
Well, actually, blue. Sorry.
Oh, man. We have an armchair theory.
Well, we read once that geniuses like green, so I
Yeah.
wore a green tie for
Me
you.
too.
But my
okay.
real personal favorite color is blue, so I say green,
So
but
it's
it's
a
not
win-win
true.
for you. Although my favorite's purple and you are wearing purple, so we're all connected.
Okay, yeah, one other really trivial question before we proceed. Should we have some kind of distinction, us left-handers? Like an actual status in this country, unfair access to things?
Well, they call us sinister, And we are overrepresented both in the low end and the high end of most distributions, which nobody really understands that. Like in IQ and other things, there's a bigger tail for left-handers.
Well, it's not unlike dyslexia, right? Where for me, I grew up knowing the stat that you were twice as likely to go to prison, but then now we have the stat that you're twice as likely to be a CEO. So it's definitely one of these make or break things. Okay, your childhood. One of the things I really like about the documentary, and of course I'm referencing the Netflix Inside Bill's Brain documentary, really, really well done. You really own the privilege you had and the advantages you had growing up in the manner that you did. And I found that kind of refreshing. I think most people are storytellers at heart, right? We know through evolution, how to craft stories and to pass on information. And obviously, coming from nothing and then creating something's just a better story. So there's definitely an incentive there to downplay that. And I just really respect that you own it in such a wonderful way.
Yeah, my parents were amazing, and I got to go to an amazing school, which, gave me the early exposure to computers, and teachers encouraged me. So, I'm very lucky.
Yeah. And one thing you and I share in common is that my mother built a company as a single mother, and she was just a force of nature. And then I found myself only attracted to other forces of nature, and I have married a force of nature. And I do wonder, are you aware of the fact that maybe the biggest gift she ever gave you is that it was going to take someone like Melinda to get you excited?
Yeah, the idea that you want a real peer who can criticize you, and if you actually do something decent, that their praise is pretty valuable. I think having an accomplished mom helped me go in that direction. Yes.
Yeah. And I do wonder, when I was watching the documentary, and I guess these questions are largely pointless, but I ask them anyways in my head while I'm watching. I do wonder if your story was inevitable, or if you think without her, because you guys definitely butted heads. I guess you were around 12 and you ended up going to therapy. And I love how the therapist basically got you to buy in, which is just, you have a very outweighed say in this struggle. You're going to hurt them so much, and they're not going to hurt you when they're trying to help you. I wonder, do you think under a different circumstance you somehow, go astray, or was it inevitable?
The number of things that lined up in my favor in terms of my parents and the school that I got to go to and the early exposure to computers and, meeting Paul Allen and teaming up with him. The number of things is pretty mind-blowing that led to the sort of outsized economic result.
Yeah. Can we throw Kent in there? Because
yeah.
Another thing I really recognized while I was watching it is I met my soulmate in 7th grade. And this was an individual, Aaron Weekly, who I had this person that I needed a co-pilot with, or I needed one person to validate. And then that's all it took for me. And I have to imagine Kent in so many ways for you is like, oh, I'm on the path of something. There's another one of me.
Yeah, and Kent thought about the future. He was reading Fortune magazine and sort of saying, what should we do? Should we become ambassadors or generals or managers or mathematicians? And Kent was so far ahead, we're in 7th and 8th grade, and he's already comparing, which of these guys gets paid well, which of them has a high impact. And so that really pushed me. I was more of an intuitive read science books type person until I met him.
Yeah, again, back to the point of like the impossible odds that add up to you. It's like you've proven to have this amazing entrepreneurial spirit and aptitude to run a business, which is its own thing outside of innovation and all that, right? And if he's not in your life, or the other thing I thought about is you take this math test in 8th grade and you score highest in the state for all grades. And I kind of thought to myself, what if you had just pursued mathematics? Certainly there's many people that had your aptitude that then pursued that, and then there's no real riches at the end of that ride, or fame, or impact.
Yeah, and when I went to Harvard, I met people who were better than me at mathematics. My personal positioning when I go to Harvard is, I'm the best math person I've met. I have an 800 on the SAT, a 5 on the AP. So then I was in a class with 60 people, and every one of us had the same personal positioning. So we had 59 frauds and one legitimate person.
Oh, that's great. Is that a humbling experience?
Yeah, I had to come up with new personal positioning after that.
So when you and Kent were daydreaming about these different occupations you might pursue, I do wonder, because I was thinking you invented, and I'm sure you have to be aware of it, you and I would say Steve Jobs and a handful of other people, you really invented a genre of fame, which is the tech icon that did not exist prior to you, to my knowledge, unless I'm missing someone from history I don't know about. So when you were fantasizing about this life, I can't imagine fame was a big component of it. I can't imagine you were prepared to be famous in the way that Monica and I wanted to be actors. And of course, that was a component.
Comes with the territory.
Yeah, you've done some thinking about.
Well, you want fame, within mathematicians or within engineers. The idea that a tech entrepreneur would be famous within the popular culture, like, on the cover of Time magazine, there really is no model for that. Maybe Henry Ford way back. But you always have a circle of people whose admiration you're kind of going for. It's just not the public at large.
Yeah. So when you found yourself with this kind of level of fame, like Michael Jackson, what was your...
Maybe not the best analogy, but...
Well, yeah, let's use a different one. Prince, are we still good on Prince?
I think we're okay.
Okay. Michael Jordan. Well, we're going to get to that. I imagine you hadn't prepared for that in any way, right? Or had you? Did it roll out slowly enough that you were like, oh, this is interesting. I'm getting quite famous.
It was certainly crazy, particularly because I was kind of nerdy and not very sociable. And then to be, rocket shipped into this, wow, what does he say about this? What does he say about that? What he says is semi-interesting. It's like, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you can confirm this or not, but I believe I've seen you in real life, and I believe it was in 1996, and I believe that it was in the parking lot of Wendy's and that you were in a burgundy 911 Turbo. Did you ever own a burgundy 911 Turbo?
Yes, but what city was this in?
Bellevue.
It's very possible. It's by coincidence, Melinda and I just started watching Parenthood. We're on the second season. So I was blown away when I thought, wait, I'm being interviewed by Crosby? My God.
Oh my gosh.
This is so funny because I read your list of TV recommendations, right, this morning. And I noticed there was nothing I was involved with. So I was like, okay, there's a pretty good chance he has no clue who I am. And I got to go even further. I screen grabbed your list and I sent it to Brad Pitt because you love Spy Game and you've seen it 12 times. And I thought even Brad Pitt will get a kick out of it.
Oh, for sure.
That's such a clever movie. Really amazing.
I had a single complaint. The trailer for that movie showed Brad Pitt with his shirt off, and then the movie itself, he never has his shirt off.
Oh my
and I remember
God.
being upset about that.
That is fraudulent.
Yeah.
False advertising to the nth degree. Okay, I want to add one thing before I move off of childhood, which is just, and it's back to Melinda and your mother. I think you nailed it as far as my own ego, which is really, I want the respect of somebody I respect. That's really what I need approval from someone I too look up to and admire. So I think that's a very truthful, honest part of the answer. But do you think having a mother like we had is the antidote to misogyny in some level? And I'm sure I have still degrees of misogyny, as we probably all do, but do you think that that's part of what will break that cycle, is having women who are very empowered and people that demand respect and deserve respect, and that then helps the offspring of those people for boys like us?
Yeah, I think realizing that your mom is every bit as capable as your dad. And actually, my grandmothers were both smarter than my grandfathers. It took me a long time to beat one of my grandmothers at cards. So I had the sense of, wow, just because men are gotten the interesting jobs, it's not based on the fact that they have some depth of understanding. And so I think that gets you off to a good start.
Yeah. Now, your appetite for reading as a kid, I just was curious, could you say that it was driven by the joy of expanding your horizon, or was it a source of relief driven from a frustration of not knowing how things worked and needing to find out?
I'd say it's a more positive thing. In the summer, the library would have this contest of who read the most books, and it was always me and girls.
Sure.
None of the boys. It was considered kind of bad form to even enter that thing.
Well, it's a weakness to be well read.
And even before I read, the grandmother who was good at cards read to me and my older sister quite a bit. So the idea that was really joyful and that the pieces would make sense over time and more of them would fit together the more you read, that was phenomenal.
Yeah, I got to say, once I went to college, I really, really enjoyed getting context, right? Like I was always curious why we have the customs we have, or why am I doing this thing? What is this vestigial of? And where did all this come from? Like just having some sense of it's not random. There's an origin for all these things we do. I found just very stimulating.
The idea of how humanity, how we learned to farm, and then we could make more food so we could do other things. I love that kind of historical, scientific mindset to understand how things proceeded. So people like Jared Diamond or Pinker, or a more obscure guy, Václav Smil, that explain who figured out what when and why then, why that person. That history is endlessly fascinating.
But also so fascinating that you had that particular interest and maybe in some way that led to you contributing. Like you're on that list of big advancements that have changed the course of history. So, maybe that interest inadvertently led to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be willing to try or to say, hey, software can change things. Why don't these older people see what software can do? Now, It took these chip people who came up with magic chips, Intel. We didn't do that part. But that enables us to come in with our part that is magical.
Yeah. Now, they ask you pretty clearly and plainly in the documentary, like, when do you realize you're smart? And there's a couple examples that were given. I do wonder, have you noticed that your brain has any deficits? Is there any price to the aptitude you have in these other areas? Are you completely deficient in any areas that you've observed?
Well, I'm certainly not that great socially.
I find you to be incredibly charming and dialed in, so I don't know.
I don't know how to cook. I'm very embarrassed that I don't speak any languages fluently.
Oh.
That's super stupid. And then every once in a while when I'm learning something new, it does take me a while to adopt to it. And I feel like, God, I'm such a fraud. This is more confusing than I expected it to be. But I think everybody has some of that.
Oh, yeah.
Your ability to, take on a completely new discipline, economics or biology or health or, all these things. Are there specific disciplines that have been hard for you?
Well, I have this mindset that I'm still a student. And many people, as they become adults, leave that mindset. I also, for any subject I study, I know somebody who knows the subject super well. So I have a lifeline. Like when I'm studying macroeconomics, I can say to Warren Buffett or Ray Dalio, God, unconfuse me here. So I know I'm not going to get stuck. And that helps you be kind of brave of pushing ahead. I mean, macroeconomics, that's a complicated one. Got quantum computing. There's things that are on the edge where you've got to say, do I really have the time to figure it out or not? Now medicine has become this thing that I get a kick out of because there's all these diseases our foundation works on. So I've been rewarded for putting the time in. And eventually it all makes sense. You have to be willing to be confused. Most adults, the minute they start getting confused, they're like, oh, this isn't for me. I'm not good at this. So you kind of have to feel good about, wow, I've just jumped in here and I am so confused. And then eventually pursue the things that don't fit until they really do.
That's great advice.
Yeah. I guess, you have to have, for me, my particular kink is Malcolm Gladwell. I love having things exposed to me that are counterintuitive. I don't know why I take such joy in that. Like, oh, no, people don't commit suicide if they don't have an easy option. Oh, wow. I would have thought they just find a way, but we have the data and that's not the case. That's mind-blowing. I love finding out I'm wrong, I guess, as a hobby.
Oh, he has such good stuff.
Well, and I just, because we were just talking about it, books you like, but I assume you've read the Yuval Harari books. Have you read those?
All of them, yeah. He's great.
Oh, man, do I love him. I got to talk to him, and it's the fastest experience with time I've ever had, where I really felt like I understood relativity. I was like, no, that was 12 minutes. That wasn't an hour. Well, that was an hour and a half. Like, I really time traveled.
He meditates a lot.
Yeah, which you're new to, right? You've kind of started to see the value.
I'm like 10 minutes a day. So I'm more of a headspace person than a real meditator.
Okay, so back to the different disciplines. Have you been interested in any of the social sciences or psychology? Do those things fascinate you at all?
Oh, absolutely. The idea of how we transfer our unease onto other people and how that leads to racism. The social sciences are, super interesting. Now, it's harder to prove you're good, harder to know the answers. They're way less developed. And I'll put economics in that group as well. And so I love the fact that people like Dubner, who you interviewed, or Gladwell, they're helping us figure out the boundary between the hard science piece and the soft science piece.
But, it's really relevant when you think about the work you're doing, because I was watching the segment on polio this morning, and, you come up against this issue where, rightly so, there's a very strong suspicion of white people, colonialists, as is deserved. But then it mutates itself into these vaccines are going to make people sterile. This is a eugenics project, right? So at that point, the rubber's meeting the road with the social sciences, right? You have to think about the psychology of what's going on. You have to have an answer that treats probably the emotions they're feeling less than the data.
Yeah, you have to find someone they trust and have them actually take the vaccine. So when we got the Emir of Kano to take the vaccine himself and give it to his kids, that was in Nigeria where these negative rumors really got going. That was our first step back, was that they looked up to him. And so you've always got to figure out in this group, where is the trust and can you convince them? Just the outsider, nobody should trust an outsider.
And to be Gladwellian about it, who's the tipping point in that society that we can empower to help? Now, and this is my own high horse issue, is it so frustrating to you that there it makes sense? There's a historical reason for that distrust. But the anti-vaxxer movement in this country, I find to be so frustrating. And I have to imagine it's largely steeped in not really understanding how successful vaccines have been. Is there anything in medicine that's been as successful as far as just preventing gross deaths?
Antibiotics and vaccines win over antibiotics. Antibiotics came first and did a very good job. Then you have vaccines. Also sanitation, understanding that getting human waste away. Those are the three things that have allowed the population to grow. Now, fortunately, when we get wealthy enough, the growth comes to a plateau. But yeah, vaccines are miraculous.
Here's a guy like you dedicating all your wealth, asking all your friends to dedicate all their wealth to help on one side of the equation. Aren't we responsible for anything? Like the recipients of all this. It's the ask not what your country can do for you part. It's like, come on, guys. That makes sense in Nigeria, but that does not make sense in this country. This is unacceptable to have this viewpoint.
We see with measles or this pandemic, convincing people that the vaccine, once it's really been approved as safe, it will benefit other people the same way mask wearing does. And yet there's this pushback that in the US, some of these things that shouldn't be political have become political.
Well, and if you happen to see, someone did they mapped the highest levels of anti-vaccine against Whole Foods locations. And it's perfectly correlated. No, I'm not going to say Whole Foods causes anti-vaccine, but it is ironic that it is a part of maybe this natural lifestyle that people are, to some degree, romanticizing if they think that vaccines are no good.
Yeah, you get that with anti-GMO, which is another one that holds back our foundation's ability to make improved seeds for the developing countries. Because even though it doesn't matter for the US or Europe, for these countries, it can solve the starvation that's still a problem there.
Well, one thing about the anti-vaxxers that I found interesting is it's often in pockets of very affluent areas. And that just goes to show, again, privilege and luxury. Like you have the luxury of thinking this isn't real.
We have the luxury of growing up and going to school where 3 of the students didn't have crutches from polio.
Exactly.
But we're not seeing that because that vaccine works.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the irony of health, is that your very success breeds complacency.
Yes.
And the canary in the coal mine that comes back, it's either measles or pertussis, where you'll get a small community that all the parents have talked to each other. And then if measles comes in, it can spread because you have a bunch of kids who aren't vaccinated.
Yes. Okay. Now, okay. Have you watched Last Dance?
It's fantastic.
Oh, we're obsessed with it.
We couldn't have enjoyed something more.
Yeah, and I'm not a basketball person, but the whole way he handled himself and what he had to deal with and just how amazing he was,
Yes.
that was brilliantly done.
And I got to say, and I understand this is at great risk to answer this because it could appear to be egomaniacal, but you had to have been watching that and going, yep, I see another fisherman at sea. He knows what it takes to be number one.
Well, it's still so amazing how good he is, and God knows where that comes from. The idea that as he got successful, that his life became a little unnatural in terms of, people seeking him out. In my view, he handled that pretty well. He's become less distorted by it. I mean, he would joke around about, hey, I had a piano up in my room, and he had some friends that he trusts. Even his security guys, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
By the way, the least intimidating group of security I've ever seen. One guy was like 80.
Yeah, I guess they had very good aim or something.
Yeah. They had a lot of martial arts training that wasn't obvious.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We get support from Skims. Oh man, do I love Skims. I've been living in the Skims lightweight cotton collection all summer, and I have to tell you, getting dressed has become so easy. I just throw it on. It just feels right immediately, whether I'm grabbing coffee or I'm on the couch all day or I'm out, even going to dinner. The cotton is so lightweight and breathable, which in this heat is a non-negotiable. The cotton jersey t-shirt, I just need everyone to know about this one. This one hugs in all the right places. It's very soft and it still looks and fits the same after months of washing, which is very hard to do, I feel, with t-shirts. I've been wearing the black cotton jersey t-shirt with basically everything all summer long. It goes great with any pattern skirt or shorts or pants. I mean, anything truly. I believe that's probably my favorite piece from the cotton collection, but they also have great lightweight cotton thongs that are so comfortable and they're cute. That is a very, very hard mix to achieve, especially with undergarments. I feel if you can find some that are cute, but also comfortable and do the job, that is a win. And Skims has really, really figured that out with the lightweight cotton collection. Shop Skims cotton and all of my favorite pieces at skims.com. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select Armchair Expert in the drop-down menu that follows.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. We've talked before about Rob building our website on Squarespace, and I bring it up again because it's a perfect example of what they do well. Rob had all the pieces, the content, the vision, the ideas, but he needed something to actually take all that and make it public facing. And Squarespace was that bridge. Maybe you're in the same spot. You've been developing something, a business, a skill set, a body of work, and it's been private. It's been yours, but at some point you're ready to put it out there, and that transition from private to public can feel like a huge leap. Squarespace makes it feel like a step. Beautiful templates, built-in SEO, email campaigns, scheduling, analytics, everything you need to go from I've been working on this to here it is, come find me. All in one place, no code, no stitching together a bunch of different tools. So if you've been sitting on something and waiting for the right moment, this might be it. Head to squarespace.com/DAX for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use offer code DAX to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, HP, for supporting this episode. Parents, you've got enough on your back to school list right now. Ink cartridges do not need to be on it. They just don't. The HP Smart Tank printer uses a refillable ink tank and comes with up to 3 years of ink included. It's the last printer you'll ever need. To learn more, search HP Smart Tank.
This episode is supported by Helix. All right, let's talk about something we both really care deeply about, sleep.
It's the most important thing. I've had my Helix mattress for years now, and I genuinely think it's one of the best investments you can make for your home. Mine still feels just like it did when I first got it.
Well, that's the thing. It's not one of those mattresses that caves in after 6 months. These things are built to last. And I'm a side sleeper. I ordered a side sleeper and I get hot, so I have cooling. And I can't tell you how much more comfortable it is to be in there, not sweating and tossing and turning.
Cooling is really important. I've read that you're supposed to sleep a little bit cold. So I also have cooling. And they have over 20 models, so it's not a one-size-fits-all situation. You just go take their quiz and they match you to what actually works for your body.
Plus, they've got cooling upgrades, which heading into summer, non-negotiable.
Truly.
Go to helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. That's helixsleep.com/armchair for 20% off. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/armchair.
Well, when I was watching it, of course, I couldn't help but ask myself this question, as I think many of the people that watched it did, is like, can you do what he did and be a sweetheart? We have these other examples, you being one of them. Steve Jobs now, he's become one. Do you think you can do what he did, what Jobs did, what you've done, and be a sweetheart?
Well, maybe not. I mean, I certainly wasn't a sweetheart when I ran Microsoft. And what it is if you push yourself super, super hard, and you're so tough on when you made a mistake and you better wake up to that mistake, you definitely project that onto other people, particularly if you're trying to move at full speed. And at the business I was in, every day counted. We had to see what we were doing wrong. And so we said, hey, this is not for everyone to sit here and work these hours and be as tough on each other. The reason you're here is because you're amazing. So don't get confused when we're being kind of tough. We're a team. We're in this together. And, every once in a while, we may have been tougher than we needed to be. I was not as tough as Steve. And I love the Jordan thing, which I think you could say for Steve or myself, which is I never asked them to work any harder or be tougher on their mistakes than I was on myself. It doesn't completely forgive it, but at least it shows where you're coming from, that you're projecting your own values and trying to get everybody to be kind of hardcore like you are. And if they're not, fine, there's another place for them to, another basketball team or another sport for them to go hang out in.
Well, that is ultimately where I'll be kind of, libertarian or something in that viewpoint where I'll go like, look, no one begged you to come do this. This isn't conscription. So part of me does go like, if you don't dig it, man, go somewhere else.
Now that I'm older, I do think I'm more subtle in terms of motivating people without having to push as hard. I mean, I was in my 20s, so I'm a little better at that.
So don't you think it maybe reflects how much you kick your own ass? Is that lightened up over time?
Yeah, because you become a little wiser. When you have a great spouse and kids, your breadth of, oh my God, if I don't succeed at this, it's everything. And so it's not quite as extreme. In my 20s, all I did was try and make Microsoft succeed. That was it.
Yeah.
Not weekends, not vacations, not broad reading. And I loved it. My competitors were always pissed off about how much harder core I was than they were. So that was like a tribute in my book.
You used some great word where you came to like that you were there 24/7.
Yeah, that was the ethos for that period of time.
Do you think Jobs deserves this deity status?
Jobs was a genius. What he did, particularly when he came back to Apple. I mean, yes, he did a brilliant job founding Apple. He did some interesting stuff at Next, but it didn't succeed. But when he comes back to Apple, all the things that have worked and not worked for him, and his ability to pick people, his taste in people, even for skill sets that he didn't have himself. He didn't write code, but he picked amazing people for manufacturing. That what he did at Apple during that 10-year period it's truly phenomenal. And there's no chance in hell it happens without him. I mean, Apple was on its way to die, and they actually were negotiating to buy a different company than Steve's. That guy, Jean-Louis Gasset, asked for a little too much money, so they went to Steve as their backup plan.
Wow.
And then Steve walks in and says, okay, this time I think I know what to do. So that period between when he goes back to Apple and when he sadly dies quite young, no one else can do what he did there.
Yeah.
I couldn't have done that. I don't know anyone who could have. So he belongs in the pantheon, even though he was at times one tough person.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say he's like, he's as much in the Walt Disney camp, maybe, on that Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely. To recognize things in a new place that there really was no model for. I mean, he was such a wizard at over-motivating people. I was a minor wizard, so I couldn't fall under his spells. But I could see him casting the spells. And then I would look at people and see them mesmerized. And I would say, no. But
You were like second year
great.
Hogwarts, and he was graduated.
I was so jealous.
Good.
Wait, I have a quick question. So you were talking about mistakes, and we have a mutual friend, Adam Grant, and he wanted me to ask with Melinda and how much of a perfectionist she is. He says that you help her all the time in realizing mistakes can be fine and how to get over them. And he wanted tips on how you do that and how you guys help each other in that way.
Yeah, I'm super lucky. I mean, this is the most profound partnership of my life. I had a partnership with Paul Allen to found Microsoft. I have one with Steve Ballmer to turn it into an amazing company. With our foundation, with our kids, with our marriage, I've got this, amazing person. And when she's pushing herself too hard, I'm good at, helping her see the biggest picture. So we do that for each other. And I can't imagine, doing these big quests where some things go wrong or when things go better than you expect, who's there to appreciate it, to laugh with you about it? It's so crazy the way we're working on with heads of state and big things. But, we've gotten into this great pattern of helping each other out. She'll see I get too up or too down, and that's a real help to me. And, the same goes with her where, she's quite driven as well.
Well, yeah, so what's the cute code word? So my wife monitors me, right? And she'll go like, Hun, a lot of nicotine today, huh? We doing good? Like she'll point out, a lot of coffee today. She's got like the little indicators.
Definitely Melinda has a look, particularly when we're in a large meeting and I'm really kind of repeating myself with my negative feedback. So, and I can use clever analogies and it's like, wait a minute, you've made your point.
Okay, now just quickly back to the jobs thing. You pointed out he was just tremendous at recruiting or picking the right people. And again, one of the things back to Titan that I was blown away with is, I guess I would have thought that guy worked 24/7, but he didn't. And he had this very interesting relationship with delegating, which I think was novel at that time. I have to imagine for me as a control freak, the very hardest thing that you must have had to eventually do is learn to delegate. Was that one of the bigger challenges for you in Microsoft?
Yeah, and that's a kind of scaling that is a huge challenge. So at first I wrote all the code. Then I hired all the people who wrote the code and I looked at the code. Then eventually there was code that I didn't look at or people that I didn't hire. And of course, the average quality per person is kind of going down. But the ability to have big impact is going up. And so that idea that a large company is imperfect in many ways, and yet it's the way to get out to the entire world and bring in all these mix of skills, most people don't make that transition. And, there are times where you go, oh my God, I just want to write the code myself. The famous thing I'd always say is, I could have come in and written that over the weekend. Well, eventually I couldn't. The individual contributor and the orchestrating an organization, those aren't often found together because there's a certain contradiction to that craftsman.
For sure. And that wonderfully takes me to Warren Buffett, which is your relationship with him, I find to be so cute and fascinating. That was a relationship he sought out, which I thought was interesting. And you had low expectations. You just wanted to get in and out. Your mom basically said, no, you got to go meet Warren Buffett. He wants to meet you. And you had kind of allocated 90 minutes and then it turned into hours. And I wondered, was it his financial wisdom? Clearly, you knew you were going to have a big understanding of economics and market and all that stuff. Or was there something else about him that attracted you to him?
Well, his reputation was that he bought stocks that were undervalued. And, I didn't think of that as that relevant to me. The fact that the way he did that was to have this broad framework for economic value and how competition worked. So that when I first meet him, he asks me about, well, why can't IBM wipe you out? Well, that's a brilliant question because IBM has all these resources. They can see that I'm better than them at this one thing. Why can't they just go hire people? And nobody had ever asked me that in the right way before. And so, the first hour, he's getting me to explain what it is that makes us special and why it's so hard for somebody to come after that. And then I get to ask him, okay, how do you see ahead for different companies? What is it you're looking for? And it's not some silly volume chart thing. It's the fundamentals of their future profit stream. He wanted to buy undervalued stocks, and I wanted to revolutionize personal computers and the empowerment. But our view of the world in terms of who's talented, who's flawed, how do you mix people together? Even now we're talking every week because the world is so askew in this interesting way that it's, predicting, okay, what's going on is more interesting than ever. So it was very profound, and we were lucky that we ran into each other. He was 25 years older than me, but, he's so much fun.
Yeah, I do think it's really interesting what you just said. You can learn about yourself by answering a question that someone asked, right? That maybe you haven't asked yourself. So it's like you may not have prior to that been able to define your strength, but when he asked you, why can't IBM do this? You then, in answering it, discover your strength and know what to double down on.
Yeah, being forced to teach something, you can really tell, do I understand this thing or not?
Right.
I got to teach Warren about Microsoft. Yeah, so it clarifies your thinking a lot.
Is there any father figure element to it, or was it way more peership? Like, did you enjoy the approval from someone like him?
Absolutely. So we're kind of peers, and he's kind of like a father figure, and it's got both wonderful aspects. Like when we go golfing, we're both terrible. So that's like a peer. We have a $1 bet on the first person to get a par. And we have special rules. If you go 18 holes with no par, who gets the $1 bill? So that's how bad we are.
Okay, great.
But then again, when something's complicated and troubling, then the depth of his experience is so valuable to me.
Yeah. Now, I do not have the intention or objective to blame you for anything. I'm literally curious about your feelings about having started a tech revolution. There's no one to point to more than you. And now I don't know, what are we, 30 years into it or 35 years into it? There's social media, and I'm sure you have opinions on social media. And does this ever just cross your mind like, oh man, well, without the thing I did, that doesn't exist?
And is this getting out of hand?
Well, certainly anything that dramatically changes society is going to be used for bad things. Henry Ford has to say, yeah, we're running over a few people. Is this good? And kind of net it out. So there definitely are things like, people use encrypted communications to do criminal acts, and that falsehoods they're so titillating that certain feed-based architectures make people spend more attention to false things than to the boring true things. And, I'm an optimist, so I think, okay, let's be creative because overall it's so positive.
Yeah.
Let's figure out how to at least minimize some of these negatives so they don't get out of control.
Well, and again, I would imagine all of you are incentivized to handle it before some bureaucracy decides to handle it for you and doesn't really understand what they're doing.
It's tricky that for car safety, the U.S. had to figure out, okay, seat belts and really regulate it. There will be some things about how these tools are used politically. Should you be able to do micro-targeting? I actually don't think so.
As far as ads?
Yeah, I don't think, certainly when anything is political, that it's really not that visible what you're saying to this person versus what you're saying to this other person. And the idea that the government should be able to see what's being said under the right circumstances, people fight against that. But I'm someone who thinks that eventually the law should be able to see some of these bad acts like they used to do with wiretapping. I'm watching Parenthood with Melinda, but I'm watching The Wire by myself. So,
what a show! Your first time with it?
Yeah, totally. Davis, the Netflix documentary, who's a super good friend, told me I had to watch it. So,
maybe the best written show ever
so
on. What
good.
episode are you on?
I just started season 3.
Oh, it's tasty. On the topic of, I just recently watched these House Judiciary Committee hearings. I didn't watch a lot of them. I watched enough of them to see a congressman dress down Jeff Bezos in what I would have found to be a very offensive manner. I was a little offended by the notion of someone who maybe hasn't created something that runs very efficiently and helped drive everything forward to be so critical of this other person. I want your opinion on that. They're lining up all these people, and what is the government crushing COVID? No. If you gave COVID to Bezos, I think he'd knock this thing out in 3 weeks. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, but if you're as successful as I am or any of those people are, you deserve rude, unfair, tough questions. The government deserves to have shots at you. I testified in front of the Senate, and I was tempted to do this sarcastic thing where they were, being tough on me. I was going to say, Senator, I have discovered capitalists. I've discovered 43 capitalists who work at Microsoft, and I'm so apologetic that I've discovered this. It's really awful. They've infested my company. Anyway, I got told by adults not to do that particular joke. But, when you've got so much share that, should you be able to have in-house products on that market? Should your logistics overwhelm everyone else, or should you have to unbundle that? What should Mark Zuckerberg do about these titillating things and even really bad things like kind of attacks that get orchestrated on his service? These are hard questions. Jeff Bezos and Amazon, they have done a phenomenal job. But that type of grilling comes with the super successful territory. It's fine.
Oh, good. You changed my opinion. You Gladwelded me.
But is that a new opinion over time now that you're older and wiser?
No, with these tech developments, the Congress has to think, are the laws up to date with respect to these companies? The competition laws, how we do acquisition laws, that's okay. The idea that they get to hide out, actually, they didn't even have to fly there. I had to fly there, but and I had competitors sitting next to me who were being tough to me. But so even then, I did not begrudge the fact that it's part of the process. If anything, the fact I didn't hire lobbyists in D.C. and that I kind of ignored D.C., that was a naive mistake on my part.
Yeah, so you just said the word, and I do think it is. If it's not on par with whatever mental aptitude you have, it's very close, and that is you are an optimist. It's really crucial. I think you have a naive optimism, maybe even at times, which is such an asset to have. And the moment I would say it's most detailed is for people who haven't seen it or don't understand. I think you bravely, and I think you're isolated enough and protected enough to be able to be one of the few people who can do this. You say, look, wind and solar is awesome. It's great. It should be exploited as much as it can, but we are going to have a source of energy that is on demand when we want it. That's just a fact. We cannot build enough batteries to run Tokyo, right? It couldn't be done. And so what are the other options? And sadly, it's nuclear, right? And then, but you have this crazy, again, I think kind of naivete to go, well, what do people hate about it? Well, they hate nuclear waste and they hate that they melt down. So let's build one that doesn't melt down and that runs on previously created nuclear waste. It's awesome. I am so grateful to you. I'm not fluffing your pillows. We do this 3 blessings thing in the morning with the kids. I try to get them to list 3 things they're grateful for. You make my gratitude list once a week. I'm literally like, I'm so grateful that Bill Gates chap is up there in Washington figuring out how to give us nuclear energy. So with that said, you have worked at this point for years on this project, to my understanding. You know, you get all this, you put so much time into the relations and getting the permission, and then years in, you get a phone call that says Trump has ended it 1 second ago with, I assume, very little knowledge of what the hell he just ended. And your reaction to me says everything about you. I at least read on your face, which is like, okay, that's the next hurdle.
Yeah, well, we have a new strategy. We're going to build it here in the United States. Even in the best case, it's about a 3-year setback. But, you know, I've been spending time with the Department of Energy and the Congress about how we get it built. I mean, basically for clean energy, there's 3 ways it could get solved. We could have a miracle in storage. So you can store all that renewable energy. That may not happen. You've got fission, which is this TerraPower nuclear plant. And then you have a fusion, which is even harder. But one of those 3, at least one, has to work, or else this whole clean energy thing will be nearly impossible. So we should put tons of money behind all 3 to give ourselves the best chance.
Yeah, I guess I have such limited knowledge on it, but I guess I had always heard that the kind of fusion model is just science fiction, or is that not science fiction?
Well, they always say it's been 50 years away for the last 50 years. So the technical difficulty of solving the problems of fission is probably the easiest of the 3. It's almost just engineering and societal acceptance for the fission path to work. The other 2 paths require breakthroughs, but there's lots of crazy optimistic people who are working on the storage miracle or the fusion miracle, and we should get behind those people in parallel.
Let's nerd out for 1 second. Why is the storage issue, in your estimation, harder to mount? What is the hurdle there?
Well, every battery ever built in the history of the world couldn't store a month of power for Tokyo. And so it's unnatural to be able to store that much energy. And the physics constants about how you improve that are very daunting. I've lost a lot of money in battery companies.
Oh, okay.
And the batteries for electric cars, the amount of storage is like 50 times less than for this grid storage. So we'll solve the electric car problem. There are people like Elon and Jagdeep and various great innovators who will make the passenger electric car become mainstream, but lots of incredible work. So the passenger car thing is in good shape. Being able to make electricity reliably, even when you have a 10-day storm, so that wind and sun won't work, that I hope we solve, but there's only those 3 paths.
Now, time management, your commitment early on to taking time for yourself, these week-long periods where you allow yourself to step out of the forest. And I think that's such great wisdom behind that. And I'm glad people are really teaching that as something of value. But I do wonder, how much time do you allocate for self-introspection?
Well, until I did the Headspace thing, which is only like 10 minutes a day, and I miss some days, at night, I like to stay up late. And I'm more of a night person. Melinda's more of a morning person. So I get, a little bit of alone time to reflect at night. And that's helpful. Usually the kids have gone to bed. Hopefully they've gone to bed by then.
Well, I did have that as a specific question because you're the sole reason I keep drinking Diet Coke. And I use it as my defense all the time because I get so much heat here in LA about drinking the Diet Coke. And I go, listen, the smartest guy in the world's drinking, 35 a day. And that one video of you reading your books, man, the fucking time lapse, they're just piling up. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he should have a chute next to his desk that just goes out to the recycling. It'd be so helpful to you. Let me install that for you. Do you have trouble sleeping? And tell me why Diet Coke's fine for us.
I must be acclimated to a reasonable level of caffeine. I don't drink coffee after noon because it's a much more intense dose of caffeine than Diet Coke is. But, I'm able to sleep quite well. I think I'm used to Diet Coke. If I stopped drinking it, I think I'd have a little bit of withdrawal.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so it's great.
Bill, I quit doing drugs and drinking alcohol 16 years ago, and I one time quit Diet Coke for about 8 months. I was like, I don't even want to be alive. It's not even worth it. There's no reward to this. I don't enjoy being on planet Earth without it. If I pitch the Coca-Cola company as you and I as like the spokespeople, and it's just like you and I just enjoying the shit out of life, pounding Diet Cokes, are you up for that? I know you don't need the money, but
I bet they pay us a lot.
Okay, Coca-Cola, if you're listening, we're your guys. I think if you went through time and you looked at the people who built Ford, DuPont, you name it, Boeing, those people have not been historically good fathers. It's really a time-consuming endeavor, and I wonder, can someone do both? And what has been your evolution on that?
Yeah, so I stepped down as CEO in the year 2000. Then I left my full-time work at Microsoft in 2008. And I would definitely say I was a better father after I retired. I'm not saying you can't be a good father and do hard jobs, but in my specific case, I was able to put more time into it. And even talking to my oldest, she's like, yeah, you could have done a little better in those early years. And,
Sure.
if you go another 20 years doing really well, then I'll forgive you for that.
You'll be back to zero.
Exactly. So the kids are nice. We joke around about it. But yes, there was some tension. And that, would come up between Melinda and I is, okay, you're doing a dinner tonight. You're headed off to that trip. And, being a father is a lot of fun. So I'm lucky that I was able to have most of my kids' childhood when I wasn't nutty about my work. My 20s, I couldn't have even been a husband in my 20s. I was 38 when I got married. And then I was 41 when our first child was born.
I'm similar. I was 38 and 40. And yeah, I just was way too self-centered prior to that. Two, I would think regularly when they were having like their hour 3 of a fit, I thought, you're so lucky I'm not in my 20s. It would have been a dangerous place. I just barely made it at 40 years old with the patience. Do you think in a way they may have saved your life in that? So I have had a similar experience where I evaluate everything much differently now. I do jobs. The time commitment is the first thought. The money is really second. It's all about the time commitment. It's how much am I going to be at home with my kids? And that's done 2 things for me. One is it's helped with the workaholism. And then 2, it's given me another pillar of my identity. One that fills me up, that gives me so much self-esteem that it helped me deprioritize and de-emphasize this other thing that was my sole identity.
Yeah, when I was in my 20s, when things were going well for Microsoft, I was too ebullient. When things were going poorly, I was too negative. That was all I was. My view was, okay, if this thing doesn't succeed, I'm a complete worthless person. And and for me in my 20s, okay, it worked, even though I don't recommend it for everyone. Now that I have the kids, the foundation has many different projects. I'm a lot more calm and unemotional about, okay, this malaria vaccine failed. Okay, that's really sad, but here's how we regroup, no yelling required. So yes, between being a parent and aging and broadening my sense of self-worth beyond the one monomaniacal thing, it's a much healthier life, I have to say.
Yeah, I bet you'll live a lot longer. It also probably opened you up in a way for your philanthropy that probably wouldn't have existed.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We are supported by HP. If you're a parent or you know one, like I do, or you can help take care of kids, you already know what August feels like. It's not summer anymore, it's the pregame. The supplies list, the forms, the "we need this printed by tomorrow" texts that come in at 9 p.m. And I say this as someone who's been on the receiving end of those texts in a former life. You're ready to help, and then the printer says no, out of ink, blinking at you, useless. It's such a small thing, but it will absolutely derail your night. So when I heard about the HP Smart Tank printer from HP, America's most trusted printer brand, I thought this is the kind of thing that actually makes life easier, not in a big flashy way, in a one less crisis way. Instead of those little cartridges that run out the second you need them, the HP Smart Tank uses refillable ink tanks, and it comes with up to 3 years of ink included. 3 years. That's 3 back-to-school seasons without the cartridge panic. HP can't fill out the forms for you, but they can make sure the printer is never the reason you're up past midnight. Search HP Smart Tank.
We are supported by Auto Trader. All right, if you've been putting off car shopping because it sounds like a whole thing, buying your car online on Auto Trader makes it way easier, really. You can shop tons of cars online, compare prices, check financing and trade-in options, all from wherever you are. And if you want to start online and go to the dealership for a test drive, you can do that too, really. What I like is the flexibility. Start online, finish at the dealer, or the other way around. Your info stays with you, so you're not starting the process from scratch. Plus, you're working with local dealer listings, so you've got real people helping behind the scenes. And when you're ready, you can pick up your car or have it delivered. Really. Buy your car online on Auto Trader. Really. We get support from Apple Gift Card. Back to school is here, and for many, that means some big life transitions. Whether they are heading into a new grade or setting up a dorm for the first time, you want to give them something that actually supports their growth and success. Apple Gift Card is a versatile solution because it takes the guesswork out of gifting. It's not just about a new pair of AirPods for focus. It's about giving them the invaluable chance to choose the digital tools and subscriptions that suit their unique journey. They can use it for productivity apps on the App Store, movie nights on Apple TV, or extra iCloud storage for all those new memories. With Apple Gift Card, it's so empowering to give the students their freedom to allocate their own resources. Celebrate their new academic chapter. Visit applegiftcard.apple.com to celebrate their milestones and gift one today.
We are supported by Arm & Hammer toothpaste. I feel like so many parts of our lives have gotten a little overcomplicated, including toothpaste. There's always some new ingredient, new promise, new thing you're supposed to suddenly care about. Arm & Hammer baking soda toothpaste keeps it simple. Powered by baking soda, a time-tested ingredient you already know and trust for a clean you can actually feel. It removes up to 3 times more plaque in hard-to-reach areas compared to a leading toothpaste, and it gently whitens. And if you hear baking soda and think, wait, is that gentle enough? Arm & Hammer is actually a less abrasive toothpaste, and it is designed to protect enamel. Myth busted. It's also the #1 dentist-recommended baking soda toothpaste. I am a broken record on Arm & Hammer toothpaste. I love it. I've been using it for years and years. My dad first introduced it to me, and I've never gone back. I've also gotten a lot of people on it, and once you go to Arm & Hammer, you won't regret it. My personal favorite is the Arm & Hammer PeroxyCare toothpaste. It improves gum health while gently removing plaque and surface stains, but also just my mouth feels so clean after. They have so many. They have advanced white toothpaste, which is great. I also use that. Complete Care toothpaste. Everything is perfect. Try Arm & Hammer toothpaste to taste the difference. Feel the difference. Shop at your favorite retailer between August 2nd and August 15th to save $1.50. Arm & Hammer baking soda toothpaste. Save $1.50 August 2nd through 15th.
I got to tell you the sweetest thing. They saw me a lot. I have 5 and a 7-year-old. They saw me a lot over the last 2 days, watching stuff, reading about you. And they would ask, what are you doing? Oh, I'm interviewing my favorite person. Oh, Bill Gates. What? So my 7-year-old watched a lot of the documentary with me. And I was just leaving to come here. And my 7-year-old came outside and she said, Daddy, good luck interviewing Bill Gates. And I said, you know what, honey, if I do a bad job, I come home, you're still my daughter. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Like, I could fuck this up 9 ways till Sunday. I could be disappointed in myself. And I walk through the door and I'm like, oh my God, I'm that little girl's dad. It's all gravy.
Absolutely.
You have 3?
Yeah, girl, boy, girl.
What's the gap between the oldest and the youngest?
It's about 3 years, and then 3
Each.
years. Yeah.
So the youngest probably has a much different experience as your child than the oldest.
Yeah, she got more time at a younger age. Of course,
But you're less interested because it's your third, right? It's like
No.
it's a weird ratio.
No, the oldest feels like we were way more strict with her. So she's like,
Right.
come on. Give me a
Yeah.
break. Why are you so easy on her? And she tries to parent her much younger sister a little bit. Anyway, all works. But, and this pandemic, it's mostly a bad thing. But in terms of times with kids, actually, I've gotten way more than I expected. And that's made it very special.
Leonardo da Vinci's notebook. This is something that you bought at some point, yeah?
That's right.
Is it one book or is there many?
Well, he has several notebooks. All of them, except for this one, are in European museums and don't travel. So this is the only one that gets out and students around the world have a chance to engage with.
Oh, so you loan it a lot.
It travels 9 months a year, and then it sits in darkness the other 3 months.
First of all, why did you want it?
Well, it's kind of weird that somebody can own a Da Vinci. I mean, he was the Renaissance man. He figured out things that nobody had ever figured out. His breadth of understanding was incredible. There's a great Walter Isaacson book about him.
Oh, I'll read that for sure.
Isaacson's a great writer on all the stuff. His Steve Jobs book is probably the most popular.
It's just called Jobs?
Exactly. That's him.
Yeah, that's the one I read.
Yeah. So, I told Melinda I'm going to buy a notebook, and she was like, well, but you already have a notebook. And I was like, no, not this notebook. So it's weird to own it, but it's just so brilliant.
Is he, if you had to list or rank the people that you were most enamored with as far as being intellectuals, where is he at in that list?
Well, the idea that he pushed himself to understand things and the broad way he did that, he's up there, with, maybe 20 people who self-motivated, asking themselves constructive questions and not giving up. That's inspirational.
Do you need an eyepiece for it? Did he write with some eyepiece that inverted it, flipped it, and did something else to it?
He wrote upside down and backwards, but now the view is that
God.
he did that. I'm a left-hander, and so I always have ink on my hand. And if you write like Da Vinci did, then you'd never get ink on your hand because you're left.
Monica, okay, you're going to love this. So I requested from Monica.
This was years ago, yeah.
Years ago, I said, I'm going to start writing. How did I describe it?
Backward. Yeah.
Just backwards.
Yeah, you wanted to start on the right side of the paper and work your way.
That's right. I was going to learn to just spell everything backwards. That was going to be my plan and reverse engineer every sentence. And then so she made me a notebook with the binding on the other side so that I could accomplish this.
And he never used it.
Well, it's harder than I thought it'd be.
Yes. Not for Da Vinci, but.
Now, when you hold the book, can you feel anything?
Well, it's parchment. It's just paper. And the paper in those times actually was not acidic. So it's extremely well preserved. And paper was expensive enough. He did a lot of things all in one place. And so historians have gone and figured out. And so I know this one super well. I enjoy looking at it. He has very good penmanship, which I do not. Of course, he was one of the best drawers ever. And he used drawing as a way of stimulating his thinking. You can see like he's figuring out rivers and erosion and two rivers meet. And
He ends up seeing it through drawing it.
exactly, that was his way. People mostly know him as an artist, although he was just a curious kid who fell in between. He wasn't upper class to go to school, but he was a bastard son of a noble, so they couldn't make him work in the fields. So he was just a free person walking around, and then he gets, at age 15, apprenticed to the great art masters. After 2 years, they're like, oh my God, you're ahead of us.
Was his thing that he hated finishing stuff?
He was a perfectionist. And so even when he dies, 3 of his paintings that he'd been working on, all of them over 20 years, they're still with him and he's touching them up and working on them.
Gosh.
So yes, he finished very, very few things in his life. He did a lot of plays. The thing he finished the most were these entertainment things because the nobles found that so valuable that a big part of his job were the little plays that he produced.
Oh, no kidding. That was part of the Guild era, right? Where they started paying recreationally to bring talent like that in?
Yeah, well, then he left the guilds and there was a rich man who he would be in charge of making weapons for him or entertaining for him or doing architecture for him. Whatever the guy wanted, he was kind of this jack of all trades, but mostly he wanted entertainment.
That's who I want to be for you.
All right.
I'll do wheelies in the front yard on motorcycles, like whatever you find amusing. I'll be the jester.
Well, work on your drawing then.
Oh boy, it's not good.
No,
It's not good.
he's really good at drawing it. They're very odd drawings, but
They're very
good.
odd.
They're good.
They're not very realistic. The Giving Pledge, which is so incredible, is it hard for you to ask people for their money, or does that come easy to you?
Well, the Giving Pledge, you're not giving me any money.
Right.
You're just committing that over your lifetime, you'll give the majority away, which if you have massive amounts, it shouldn't be too hard. So, some people turn me down in terms of joining the group, but it's a group that we're learning together, encouraging each other to do more, to do it earlier. Particularly in the pandemic, there's been a lot of talk about, okay, what is the government not doing well? How do we step up and fill those holes?
The income inequality is incredibly real. It's a big concern of mine. But at the same time, I'm not on board with objecting to billionaires, and especially with what you've done and what Rockefeller did. There's a freedom that you have that is so valuable. Again, you don't have to do something that's popular. You don't have to do something that you need political support for. You are free to tackle any problem you want. Would you agree that there's great value in billionaires so long as they're as generous as you and Buffett and these other people who have signed up, that it is of great value to us?
Absolutely. And there's lots of room to collect more in taxes from very rich people and still have enough that philanthropists can go out and pursue things that government's not risk-oriented or doesn't know how to assemble the right kind of team. So philanthropy, even though it's a small part of society's resources, I do think it's quite valuable. But I do separate that from the idea that, hey, they should make people like me pay a lot more in taxes. Not, 100%. Maybe I'm selfish to say that, but
What's the number? Because I think I'm pretty open to more taxes, but there's certainly a number. When I heard 70%, I was like, nope, that's too high for me. I don't want to go 30 cents on the dollar. What's the number for you?
Well, somewhere between 50% and 70% as you get to very high levels. Even at very high levels, something like 70% is doable. And we've had, historically, the U.S. actually had these very high taxes. So, you can push it too far, but there's a lot of room to collect more.
Would you say that, are you a centrist?
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too. I feel like we're unicorns at this point. In fact, anytime I say something, both sides hates me. And I'm like, oh, I see why people are disincentivized to be a centrist. Both sides hate you.
No, it's a lonely center when you think, we're going to overregulate, underregulate, overregulate, underregulate. But, democracy has a way of being self-correcting. So, just making sure there's enough technical skill to help the well-meaning people is the part that I can help with.
So as you've been more and more immersed in COVID and trying to stay abreast, and it's almost impossible, right? Because it's hourly that something's completely negated we were working upon. So you got to be flexible to be as immersed in it as you are. But as this vaccine becomes available, what should our role be as a country, as the richest country in the world?
Well, the U.S. historically on global health things like this, like smallpox eradication or polio or HIV or malaria, the U.S. has been phenomenal. And, President Bush started a thing called PEPFAR, which has got 18 million people alive on HIV medicine. That's very bipartisan. This situation, weirdly, we're so domestic focused that we're doing a good job funding the research and development to create a vaccine. But we haven't stepped up to help fund that vaccine for the poor countries. We've only made factories just for ourselves. And so hopefully in the next week or two, we'll get, something like $4 billion to buy those vaccines. So that's my hot topic right now, is that even though 99% of this money should go to help the U.S., if we set aside that 1% from a humanitarian point of view, strategic point of view, and just selfish point of view of the disease not coming back, that 1% will be phenomenally well spent.
Well, let's add national security into there, which
Absolutely.
people really underestimate how much of this stuff is preventative that costs us so much more money down the road if we have to go to war with somebody. But these acts of goodwill are hugely instrumental in keeping us safe, aren't they?
And and driving stability in these countries, which is a win-win. Making sure that there's factories outside the U.S. as well as inside the U.S. That's the part that we're missing right now. And that can be done just by setting aside a modest amount of money.
Is there any fear of that tech getting exported? Let's say that you could make it in China for 10 cents on the dollar. Will that be a roadblock?
Well, actually, the factories in India, not so much in China, will be part of this global coalition because they have very high volume factories there. And so the pharma companies are, for the first time, allowing something they invented to be made in another company's factories. And I'm very happy with that cooperation. They keep saying to me, well, will the U.S. fund the procurement? And I say, yeah, we'll take care of that. But, this may be our last chance until into sometime next year because the election will get everybody distracted. So this bill, we're going to try our best to get it into this bill.
Okay, my last question, and it's totally self-serving, is I love that the doc starts with you getting arrested for speeding. Do you still like going fast?
Yes, but not to the same degree. I have this Porsche Taycan now.
Oh, you have one.
It can accelerate like nothing else. So it's a little tempting, I have to say.
Do you like cars? Do you collect any?
I'm not an expert like a lot of people. My very first car was a Porsche 911.
Oh,
Our family has overly nice cars. But this Taycan, as soon as I could get it, because I'm very big on climate change, it's electric. The Tesla's a fantastic car, but this one is kind of a special deal for me.
yeah, they're incredible. I've only seen pictures of it, but I'm a host of Top Gear, so I think I'm going to get to drive it soon, and I'm really looking forward to it. To me, like adding the Porsche racing history, racing feel, the handling, if that gets mated with what this insane acceleration of Tesla has produced, sign me up. I'm in.
Yeah, they do a good job on the synthetic sound effects. So, it doesn't sound like a Porsche, but they make a sound like a Porsche.
Did you keep that first 911? Because, those things have skyrocketed in value.
No, I eventually sold that. For a while, I almost lost my license, so I slowed down for a little while.
I love it. Now, it also came out in the doc that you're a fast skier, you're a fast mountain biker. You've got a healthy amount of daredevil. Again, when we get into this impossible, lining up of variables that make you, that's certainly there, right? I mean, the risk taker part of you.
Yeah, certainly if you've taken risks and they've worked out, you're tempted to keep pushing the limit. And so, funding nuclear energy or an HIV vaccine, even though the odds objectively of all of this innovation stuff I do are quite high, I know that it can work. And, of course, I'm lucky now that I have resources to back brilliant inventors. So, yes, my optimism has been reinforced through good luck.
Yeah, you're a little bit on a closed loop of like really great outcomes. This is dangerous to say, but I've been sympathetic's not the right word. Maybe I've been understanding of politicians who've gotten themselves in hot water because I go, yeah, their whole life they did something that everyone said couldn't be done, and they discovered by and large they could do it. So when you tell them you can't have an affair in the White House, says who? I did this other thing. Like, you can get in trouble from that closed feedback loop of positive outcomes. And you've managed to not destroy your life. And it's really impressive, more than I think people might give you credit for.
No, success is a dangerous thing. And being married to the right woman is the best anecdote for that.
Wait, I have one more thing, just because I don't think anyone knows this, but when I spoke to your communications person before we got to chat with you, she said something I didn't know about your foundation, which, and you can tell me if this is wrong, after you or Melinda, whoever passes last, the foundation is going to end 20 years after that?
That's right. It's a spend down foundation because there'll be rich people in the future who will understand the problems at those times better than we do. And our foundation is really good at ending childhood death, ending HIV, malaria, And so we should take all our resources and the thing that we really focused on, including U.S. education, and do our best to achieve those instead of having, some old friend sit on the board and feel prestigious.
I like that.
This has been so fun, and I just want to make myself available to you. When you get to season, I don't know what, of parenthood, and I do some naughty business, and you want to call me and yell at me, I am at your disposal,
All right.
okay?
All right.
This was fantastic.
Yeah, you really made our year.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything you do. You'll continue to be in our gratitude list.
Well, thanks. This was a blast. Good job.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Take care.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
This episode is brought to you by ServiceNow. Look, I have my dream job. I get to talk to folks I admire like crazy and ask them virtually any question that I want to. I can't imagine a better way to spend my time. But even dream jobs have some not so dreamy parts, the stuff that gets in the way of the actual work. Now, that's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what you should do about your busy work. They actually do it, start to finish. Cases closed, requests handled, no extra work for you. So you and your team can focus on what matters most, which for me is, are they obsessed with male bodies on the same level as I am?
They never are.
To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com.
William Gates.
Oh my God. We did it.
Oh my gosh. How many days did your buzz last?
Still going.
Still going, yeah. I have residual buzz for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I was high as a kite for about 4 days.
He's your hero and you got to chat with him. How did that feel?
He was so cute and funny and
So cute.
playful.
Oh my gosh.
I hope he doesn't mind me referring to him as playful, but that is what I tell my hairstylists.
What?
Just make it playful.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I always say
Sure.
like up the playful a bit. Anywho, what a guy. I mean, of course he's going to be smart. You already know that.
Yeah, duh.
That's a foregone conclusion. But then you see him, he looks so cute, it's impossible.
My only fear was that he might be reserved,
Mm-hmm.
but he was so great at communicating. And
Do you think our show's the kind of show that the publicists tell them, like, you got to stay guarded?
probably, well,
Or
it's
because
counterintuitive because you can't really stay guarded.
No, it would be
know?
a bad interview.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to have some vulnerability.
Yeah.
Sadly, his favorite color is not green.
I was happy about that
Well,
because
yeah.
I've always carried around a lot of guilt for liking blue the most. And I believe he said blue.
He did. He
So
did say blue.
between that and the DCs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was another thing. So you said you wanted to memorialize this and then you held up your Diet Coke, but the viewers didn't know.
Oh, good. I'm glad you red flagged that.
Yeah. So if people
there
were
was a
wondering,
cheers.
yeah, there was a Diet Coke cheers because they both love it so much.
Did it almost make you want to drink a Diet Coke?
You know what? Yeah. With Bill, we only had one left.
I know. What luck or misfortune. I
No,
did.
it was luck because what if you didn't have one? We would have had to
Oh.
cancel the interview.
You're right. But had I a 12-pack of DCs, I would have banged back 6 of them for sure, just to show off in front of Bill.
Yeah.
Show him what kind of league I'm in on the DCs.
Okay, but green. So I looked up what colors mean about people.
Oh, great.
So black, people who choose black as their favorite color, and this is in Psychology Today, not Wikipedia. People who choose black as their favorite color are often artistic and sensitive. While these people aren't introverts, they are careful with the details of their lives and do not share easily with others.
Ooh.
White, people who like white are often organized and logical and don't have a great deal of clutter in their lives.
Wow, you're partially white. Go ahead.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Red, those who love red live life to the fullest and are tenacious and determined in their endeavors.
Jess.
I think you just associate red with Jess because of his
I
hair.
do, yeah. And it sounded like him.
I do that too. Blue. If blue is your favorite color, this is you. You love harmony, are reliable, sensitive, and always make an effort to think of others. You like to keep things clean and tidy and feel that stability is the most important aspect in life. Doesn't really sound like you. So
This is that classic thing that anytime you hear a description of yourself, you'll identify with it because it's about you.
yeah.
Yeah. What's yours? Orange?
No. Ugh.
You told me that the other day.
No, purple is my favorite.
Oh, right. Purple.
Okay, but I'm not there yet. Green. Those who love the color green are often affectionate, loyal, and frank. Green lovers are also aware of what others think of them and consider their reputation very important.
Are we more green?
I do love green.
Oh, it's a great color. It's my second favorite.
Yellow. I also love yellow. You enjoy learning and sharing your knowledge with others. Finding happiness comes easy to you, and others would compare you to sunshine. Oh, that's nice. Purple.
Uh-oh. Is it the opposite of sunshine?
Oh, my God. Wow. You are artistic and unique. You have a great respect for people, but at times can be arrogant. So I guess that's right. And I guess it's the opposite of sunshine, as you said.
Well,
that's fine.
No. The colors yellow and purple are objectively opposites, right? Like to me, purple's one stop before you're black. That you've mixed too many colors together. And it's like last stop before black. And then I think light yellow is the last stop before white.
Oh, wow. All right. That makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Brown, you are a good friend and try your hardest to be reliable and dependable. Flashy objects are not something you desire. You just want a stable life. So now we know. There was no orange on here, but good thing I hate orange.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
I actually don't hate it, but it's not.
You look great in it.
Oh,
you got some Pangea. Pangea in orange. And it's a great color on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It pops. Okay, so he said garage, but I'm pretty sure he meant attic.
Oh, right.
He said he wasn't at the garage, but I think he meant the attic, which to be fair to him is above the garage.
I went a step further, as you recall, and I thought he meant garage. And I was like, someone researched me enough and told him, hey, this knucklehead loves cars.
Yeah.
You could just say that and you'll be off to the races.
Which maybe.
You're definitely right. Oh, by the way, don't you love how much entertainment he watches?
Yes. And did Brad Pitt respond?
No.
Dang.
Don't put me on blast. Yeah, it's been a week.
Okay, sorry.
At least.
He's just busy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about Kent, but we didn't say who Kent was. We were referring to the documentary. And in case people who haven't seen it, Kent was his childhood best friend. And he died as a kid in an accident.
Well, not only was he his best friend, he was like a genius as well. And his hobbies were super eclectic. And he collected Forbes magazine and Entrepreneur magazine and Aviation magazine and all this. He was a daredevil intellectually and then decided the best way to snap out of his geekdom was to start mountain climbing. So he was in a class and died mountain climbing. It's crazy.
So sad. Okay, the notebook I made you, I wish I wanted to find it because it had to be more than just I bound it on the other side, right? Because wouldn't we just flip over a regular notebook?
There was trace paper involved as well.
Yeah, but why?
See, that's the thing. I think I invented something that I forgot I invented, and I think you manufactured the thing I invented, and neither of us can remember now.
Oh, no. We're going to need to find it and blow off the dust on it.
You can say I forgot about more products than you've ever invented.
Oh, my God.
You think that would be a good burn?
Yeah.
Next time you're arguing with somebody about who's made more products, brought more products to market?
Oh, my God. Some of these presents we've given you are so stupid.
They're so thoughtful.
Also, speaking of thoughtful, you wore a suit, which I thought was so cute.
And here's what I was upset with is that you told me you knew I was going to do that. By the way, it didn't occur to me till last minute. So you knew before I knew. And yet you did not arrive in a ball gown. That would have been so great if it was like we were receiving the president or something for a cocktail party.
First of all, I don't own a ball gown.
Well,
I wish. If I had my prom dress and I thought you would wear a suit, it occurred to me on my drive over. I said, I think he's going to show up in a suit.
Okay.
So I didn't have time to plan, but I did plan. I wore all green.
And I wore a green tie.
Yeah.
We both were certain he was going to pick green for his favorite color.
So embarrassing.
We were trying to play to his ego. Is it so flattering to get our approval?
So he's watching Parenthood, which is so flattering, right?
So lucky.
You've been so flattered this week.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
I sent Kadams a thank you text for that. I said there was a point when he said he liked Parenthood and he was in the middle of it and was excited to talk to Crosby. I just relaxed so much.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, good. He's not completely inconvenienced by this.
Yeah.
He might even enjoy it.
But you said when you get to a certain season, you're doing some naughty business to
Sure.
forgive you.
Spoiler alert coming?
Well, no, I'm just going to say it's season 2,
Okay.
episode 17.
That's
when things
when
really hit the fan.
It hit the fan. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Do Not Sleep with Your Autistic Nephew's
Well,
Therapist, which is a bit of a
That's
spoiler.
quite a spoiler.
But that is what it's called. So,
That might be the episode that's fallout from it. Do you think they would really label it that?
okay, maybe not. Oh, you know what?
You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
the next
not.
episode, we probably fight about it the whole episode.
This is so embarrassing that I know this, but you're right. It's not. The one where you actually commit the crime
Mm-hmm.
is called it's Max's birthday party, and it's that magician, and it's called something about that.
He's a bug guy or something.
Yeah.
Max?
Yep, that's the one.
Bingo. We did not get him to say diarrhea, unfortunately. That's maybe my sole regret.
Shoot, you're right.
Because he says it so frequently in the documentary, as he has to. He's talking about sanitation. It's not like he's being excessive. It's just required. But you don't expect to hear the world's most brilliant man say diarrhea, diarrhea, diarrhea.
Over and over and
and
over.
Then it started getting to Monica and I, and boy, did we get the giggles every time it came up.
Yeah, I had a friend who had to turn it off because it was too many times.
Okay.
And she didn't know how to handle it because it was so serious a topic that she felt really guilty about laughing. So she just had to turn it off.
That's where you and I's strength really shines.
There's
is
no
we
guilt.
don't feel that guilty about that.
True. So the anti-vaccine Whole Foods thing, I was looking at that. I couldn't find the chart, but a lot of places were saying the anti-vaxxers are often described as middle and upper class women who breastfeed their children, shop at Whole Foods, and scour the web for vaccine-related conversation. They believe that their thinking supersedes that of doctors. Typically, their families earn more than $75,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just some
It's
stuff.
an
It's not everyone.
interesting niche of the population.
It is.
Yeah, because it's anti-science, which you associate with not Whole Foods shoppers.
Yeah, there's definitely an arrogance that comes, I think, with education, where you're like, I'm smart enough to know that there's falsehoods here.
Oh,
so
I'm smarter than. Yeah. Oh, I want to clear up. I tried to address it on Instagram, but I was confusing the Raven with Telltale Heart.
Oh, yeah.
A kind fellow pointed that out to me.
So we should do another reading
Under the
another
floor.
day.
Yeah, maybe we'll tackle Telltale Heart when I have more energy.
Yeah, let's.
Can I give you a little theory I have?
Yes, please.
When it got onto cars, and he said, we've gone electric. Of course, he has to.
Of course.
I could tell he was looking at me like, if I visit you, I want to go out in some shit.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, that's some
I
assumptions.
want to go out in some shit because
Okay.
Daddy still likes to play in the dirt. Okay.
Okay.
That's what I think happened. It was just a glance.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
You can say a lot in a glance.
You really can.
Yeah.
You can say everything. One thing I have to make clear, we forgot to do something and it was important and we forgot.
Uh-oh.
On the documentary, Bill's, I think, assistant packs a bag for him every time he goes anywhere. It's a humongous bag full of books.
Yeah.
Because he needs to read all the time.
It looks heavy as fuck.
It looks so heavy. So Kristen wants
thank
to make Bill a bag that says Bill's book bag.
Well, is it wants to or already has?
She hasn't done it yet that
Okay.
I know of.
She just wanted to put out an official invite.
That's right. And she's made a few bags for other people over this quarantine.
She has. Molly and Clay Cullen, beautiful couple, friends of ours. She made Molly a beautifully decorated love bag with Clay on a Subaru jumping over some dirt.
One of her many strong suits is bag making.
Bag making and just art in general.
Yeah, definitely. And she uses puff paint and it's very cute. And she would like to send Bill's book bag.
Is that too much to ask?
We're not asking nearly enough.
And I guess we're asking the assistant, right? Bill doesn't give a shit what bag gets handed to him as long as that thing's packed to the gills with super dense scientific spreadsheets.
I don't think he'll care.
He won't care.
He won't even notice.
He'll get photographed with it. Her Etsy store will blow up.
I am worried about his back. Like, I want him to wear a backpack because I'm nervous about this one-shouldered bag that's so heavy on his body.
But he's so mindful. I imagine he has a whole program where he alternates shoulders to keep them equally strained
It's
and
still
fit.
going to hurt.
Okay.
Okay, I'm worried.
You are pretty worried, aren't you?
Very.
Okay, so this is tough. So as we talked about on the Sean Penn episode, you have had to change your profile to 60. And you know where I'm going now.
I do. How old is he? Let's look it up. What would you guess?
67.
He is 64.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't have to go up very much higher.
It's not asking a lot because you're already at 60.
Yeah, I'm happy to go to 65.
You're going to go to 65?
Yeah.
To include Bill?
Of course. If there's a Bill Gates type out there, I want that.
I think we would have heard of him, right?
No,
Another Bill Gates type?
maybe he's just not known yet, but will become known in the next
like
year.
a 33-year-old. Well, I guess that would be one of these other.
No.
You could lasso one of the up-and-coming Bill
That's
Gates.
too hard for me
Grab
to
them
know.
at 33.
That takes a lot of projection on my end to know if they're going to become a Bill Gates type. I need to just get one of the 64-year-olds that already is that
Is
type.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you imagine raising little Bill Gates?
Oh.
If you had a little boy. If you had a boy, a son, would you name him Bill Gates Jr.? I would. And I'd put him in a little work shirt right away, like a little button up. Bill Gates Jr.
Oh,
And I'd call him by his full name every single time I referred to him. Bill Gates Jr.?
Oh my gosh.
Come over here. Let's refresh those batteries on that calculator.
That would be so funny to name your kid Bill Gates Jr.
I'd always have him in business casual.
Oh my gosh. I think I hit them all.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
Because I think we share this. You know, I have alternating low self-esteem and megalomania.
Okay.
There's almost no stop in the middle. I'm either thinking something so bad about myself that couldn't be possible or something so grandiose. I have entertained the notion that he's going to reach out to me to chill.
I really hope that happens.
But do you think it's completely delusional?
No, I don't. I think it's in the realm of possibility.
Well, look, we did the best we could. I feel like we left our best routine on the stage. Is that a saying in cheer? We left our best routine on the stage.
We left it all on the floor, on the mat.
On the stage?
No,
you
you
guys were
wouldn't-
on a stage,
Yeah, but
right?
you wouldn't say that. You'd say the mat,
The mat.
or the floor.
Okay.
But also, we just don't say that. We
that
just
kind of
say,
thing. Good job, we won again. This is getting boring.
we got to start losing so we can mix it up a little bit.
Change the odds.
Yeah, no, I hope you feel proud of yourself. It was a really good interview.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were spectacular too. You were very, very relaxed as well.
Pangaya.
You were blaming it on the Gaia.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Well, we checked that off our life
Oh,
list.
no, I got to add one more 2 cents.
Okay.
This is very special.
It is.
I'm not going to be fearful of being saccharine.
Okay.
I got to give you even more credit because I have in you what I was lucky enough to have in Aaron Weekly, which is if we would have eaten shit, we would have shared it and laughed about it for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
There was going to be a win, whether we triumphed or ate a big old duty,
Yeah.
a pooty duty.
A pooty duty?
And it's solely because I share this with you.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love you.